Hello everyone, my name is Thomas White and this is Thomas Writes. It's no secret that a lot of people struggle with reading for fun. And it's kind of a sad irony in the fact that reading is something that at its core should be fun and relaxing and inspire creativity, but so often it feels like a chore. I think that our jobs and our schooling really trains us to see reading as work. It becomes monotonous. Many of us are forced to read books that are not very engaging, that are very dry and kind of bland. And because we grow up in school reading out of obligation, it can kind of numb us to the fact that reading should be for fun and train us to think that all reading feels like work. So today I want to give you 5 tips on how you can get back into reading for fun. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and comment down below on what you would like to see me do next for my upcoming videos. I hope to do more advice-style videos like this in between my reviews, and as I continue to work through the Wheel of Time, which is taking me a while. I apologize for that, but I can assure you that the review for the next book will be on its way as soon as I can finish the second book. And with that, let's get into it. Number 1, find something that you want to read. This should seem like a no-brainer, but it's surprising to see the amount of people online who struggle with getting into reading because they don't know where to start. Sometimes people feel obligated to read the classic novels that everybody says you should read, or the books that are very popular right now. But at the end of the day, you should read whatever you think will interest you. If you're looking for recommendations, I would say the best place to start is in your friend group. If you have friends that read a lot, I would ask them what are some things that they enjoy. You can also check social media, see what books are trending right now, and check those out for yourself. You can also check websites like Barnes & Noble's website, or Goodreads, or just any place where people talk about books and get their input on it. You can also check out booktube channels like mine or the countless others that are on YouTube and see what books they're reading and what you might be interested in. That's how I got started with many of the books I'm currently reading, is because the booktubers I follow were reading those books, and so I wanted to check those out. Another possibility is to look up the book for a movie that you really like. Many movies nowadays are adapted from books, so if you like Lord of the Rings movies, then maybe try reading the Lord of the Rings books. I also recently discovered that Fight Club was originally a novel as well, so now I'm really interested to pick that one up. At the end of the day, you need to read what you want to read, and don't feel obligated to read something just because a lot of people are talking about it or it's really popular with a certain crowd. You just read whatever you find interesting. It's always a cool thing to discover what your niche is in terms of the kinds of books that you enjoy. Number 2, find the format that works best for you. There are many ways to read books nowadays in our modern era. You have your standard paperbacks, you have ebooks, you have audiobooks. There are many different ways to read now. And in terms of which one you should do, just do whichever one you find the most convenient and find engages you the most. For me personally, I like the feel of a paperback book, but many times I will listen to audiobooks in my car because I spend so much of my days driving. It's helpful to be able to read while I'm in the car. And yes, audiobooks are reading. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You are getting the exact same information as you would if you read it in physical format. Audiobooks are reading. End of discussion. Unfortunately, in the bookish community, people can get a little snobbish sometimes on what format they prefer. People who love paperbacks can get very particular about that. Same for people who read ebooks or audiobooks. Again, just read whatever format works best for you. I know plenty of people who have no time throughout the day to just sit down and read a physical book, so they almost exclusively do audiobooks, and that's fine. Whatever format engages you, you should do. If you don't want to spend the extra money to get physical copies of books, there are plenty of books on the Kindle store that you can purchase that are way cheaper than if you bought the paperback There's no real objective way to compare these different formats. It's all dependent on you and what you prefer. Number 3, set aside a time to read. One of the most difficult things about reading for fun is finding the time to do it. Ironically, something that should be entertaining feels like work because you have to set aside time out of your day in order to do it. For me personally, I find it very helpful to turn my phone off whenever I set aside time to read, because I know if I leave it on, I'm just going to get distracted by social media notifications or texts and things that I don't need to be focusing on at that time. Even if it's just 30 minutes or an hour, that is ample time to get a lot of reading in. And if you feel like you don't have time to read, keep in mind that you can always do audiobooks, and so you can listen to books while you're working, while you're doing chores, while you're going on a walk. There's a lot of different ways to be able to read nowadays, and we should take advantage of them. I also get a lot of downtime at my job, and so I will take that time to read books in between service calls. I know it can be difficult to set aside a time to read, but honestly, having that self-control and that discipline is necessary to get any sort of substantial reading done. Whether it's at work, at home, in the car, there are plenty of opportunities to be able to read. Something else that can help with setting aside time to read is taking away time from other forms of entertainment you're already engaging in. Maybe instead of binging that show that you've seen already, you can take a little time out of that to read. If you like to play video games late into the evening, take some time out of that and spend that time reading. It's been said to me before that if you truly love something, you will make time to do it. And I think with reading, that is especially true. Number 4, go somewhere where you will be encouraged to read. A temptation I often face whenever I'm about to read is to get distracted by other things. I've got my PlayStation, I've got my TV, I've got video games and my phone with the internet. So there's a lot of opportunities to get distracted with other things. For me, I find it very helpful to get out of my house even, to go somewhere else where I will be able to focus purely on reading. Sometimes I will go to the local library here at my university campus, sometimes I will go to Barnes & Noble or another bookstore, or just someplace random that I've never been before and take the time to read. There's a lot of hustle and bustle in our day-to-day lives, and so it's good to find somewhere where we won't be distracted by too much noise or work or our friends, and we can take that time for ourselves to read. And again, wherever that works best for you. Some people love the comfort of their own homes, some people are like me and like to go somewhere different. It all depends on what works best for you. So experiment around, have fun with it, try going to different locations every now and then and seeing what you enjoy and works best for you. It doesn't have to be an Instagram-worthy place. It just has to be a place that will encourage you to get through those books that you've been meaning to read. And finally, number 5, don't feel obligated to finish a book that you don't enjoy. I think this is a really important point to hit home because a lot of people seem to get burned out on reading because they start reading a book, they don't enjoy it, but they feel an obligation to finish it. And when you're forcing yourself to read a book that you don't like, that's never fun. That's never enjoyable. Sometimes it isn't your choice. Sometimes for work or for school, you have to read some really dry stuff. But on your own time, you can choose what you want to read. So why spend that time with something that you're not going to enjoy? If you spend any time on booktube, you will see people talk about their DNFs, which stands for did not finish. So plenty of people who read as part of their hobby or part of their job will not finish books because they didn't enjoy them. And that's perfectly fine. And keep in mind, if you don't finish a book, you can always come back to it later and try again. Another example for me is with Dune. I started reading Dune on audio and I just felt so lost and confused, and so I quit listening to the audio version and I picked up the paperback version so I can try it out again. And maybe in a different format, I'll like it more. Who knows? So don't burn yourself out on reading by reading something that you're not enjoying, because ultimately what is enjoyable to you is subjective, and it's unique to you. So don't feel pressure from anyone to finish something that you're not liking, because that will just kill your love for reading. Just focus on reading what you enjoy, and you will start to experience the love of reading for fun. And with that, those are my 5 tips on how you can get back into reading for fun. I hope this was informative and helpful. Keep in mind that this is all my opinion, and feel free to leave down in the comments below what books you are currently reading, and what books got you back into reading for fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you would like to see more content like this in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.